What's going on, guys? Just figured I would upload the full workout, or well, most of it. I think I did leave out a couple of sets of my push day the other day. I was getting into some incline press and just some other push accessories, basically shoulders, chest, and triceps. If you guys aren't subscribed, if you do that, that'd be really cool. It would let me know that I'm loved by somebody out there in the world, and that is a kindness that you just can't say no to. But yeah, so basically, at the end of the day, I am just starting to transition back over into a strength block from just kind of being on a maintenance hypertrophy kind of phase, cutting a little bit of body fat, just trying to get things back on track as far as that goes. So in doing that, what I like to do to transition away from hypertrophy and just maintenance and back into a phase where I'm actually pushing numbers and following a dedicated program is I will initially, to prep myself for that strength block, I will begin to transition away from machines as much as possible. I will still incorporate them for accessories, but I'll transition away from machines when possible and begin to incorporate a lot more free weights. I have found that for myself, free weights tend to help me gain strength much quicker and much more effectively than machines. Machines are great to put on size, but I have found that for myself, the strength gains come with the free weights. The fixed plane that a machine gives is just not the same stimulus for me as having to control the weight from multiple different angles. As well as that, to transition away from the maintenance block and into the strength program, I will begin to incorporate my main lifts more often. So that will be, for me, it's kind of like a powerlifting program. It's going to be a back squat, a conventional deadlift, and instead of where there would be a bench press, I do this incline press, a relatively high incline press. I feel like it transfers over for me into shoulder strength better than a bench press, and I just enjoy it a bit more. I enjoy overhead or high incline pressing a bit more than just a flat bench, but to each their own. Also for me, I have found that I benefit most from strength, and I make the best strength gains when I build my confidence going into my lifts. So for instance, for me, I'll be looking to hit a 340 on the incline press would be really cool. So when I'm working up towards that number, I try not to get too close to that number too often during the program, because for me, I can tend to get intimidated and shy away if I hit weights that don't move well. So for instance, if I hit like a 310 or a 315 leading up into that 340, and it doesn't move the way I want it to, it's an off day, maybe it's not after a deload, so I'm not quite physically where I should be, and it doesn't move well. Well, then when I go for the 340, I'm going to be intimidated. It's going to move slow, and I may not hit it. That's just for me. To each their own. Some people can hit higher reps and higher weights more frequently. For myself, I found that I get a bit discouraged, and I don't progress as well if the weight doesn't move the way I want it to. So having said that, for myself, I would like to, before I'm going for the 340 in the weeks leading up to, I would like all the weights I'm touching to be moving quickly, to just be building that confidence, so that when I hit that 340, I have already hit that movement pattern so many times with a lot of confidence, so then I really can attack the 340, and I'm feeling really confident going into it. Whereas, say the week before or 2 weeks before I hit something that was less than the 340 and it didn't move well, then the 340 is going to really sketch me out. And obviously, when you're going for a PR, you don't want to be sketched out. You want to go into it aggressive. You want to be able to attack it, and I don't have the mentality to be able to overcome that, and big props to those that do, those that can take a miss, or fail a lift and then just go attack it the very next week, or a couple of weeks later. That's very commendable, and I'd love to have that kind of mental fortitude to be able to pull those off. Now, that being said, we all have misses, and we all fail lifts, and you have to bounce back from it. But I've just found the most success for myself is when I can just build my confidence throughout the program. So that's kind of the last facet of what I will incorporate in the upcoming couple of weeks, or week and a half, whatever I decide, however many workouts more I can get in, is I will try to incorporate all of my main lifts, and I will try to hit them at higher weights and reps than my program will start. And so by that I mean, like, say my program is probably on incline is probably going to start around sets of 8 or 10 at 225 ish, or 230 for like 6 or 8, or 235 for 6 or 8, or whatever it is. But I'm going to want to have hit that harder and higher numbers than those weights beforehand. Now that just works for me. I'm far from telling anybody else how they should run things, but I like to, right when I step foot into that program, if I've hit a higher weight than my program is even starting at, it's already going to give me that confidence to just start rolling the ball forward in a good direction and a positive momentum. As again, like I said before, the positive momentum and the confidence to me are key to going in and attacking those bigger numbers, and once you've hit those bigger numbers, then your starting point can increase a bit, and so then you can drop down and not have to drop down as far, and that's kind of the progression that you end up making. Here I was hitting the 100-pounders for, I think, sets of 10, I believe they were, and yeah, these were feeling pretty good, and I'm pleased with that, because it wasn't not so long ago that I wouldn't have been just moving the hundreds for 10. So it's pretty cool to be able to actually see the progress, and sometimes we all need that reminder of like when things are moving slow or when it feels like the program is kind of stagnating and you're getting into a bit of a funk. It's nice to just step back and say, all right, I am better than I was back then, and it's nice to be able to, from an outsider looking in perspective, go, you know what, there has been progress, no matter if I feel like crap today or I didn't do as well today, or whatever the case may be. If you can just step back and say, overall, I'm better than I was, you've found success. But the trick is just to stay hungry, and that's why I'm going to kind of be at an interesting spot after this program, because in June of 26, it will have been 3 full years that I've been working out with weights. I had a 6-month membership to a gym when I was like 19, but I didn't know nothing about what I was doing and wasn't even really interested in it. I just felt like it was something I needed to do. But, so these upcoming lifts I've got my goal for the deadlift is like 625 to 635, somewhere in there. A squat, I'd like to be at least 590 up to like maybe 610, 615 if it's right on the day. And then for the incline bench, I'd like to be at least 340, if not 345. So I feel like those are achievable numbers, and the range is there that I can probably hit the bottom of those ranges. By the end of it, I think I'm pretty confident that can happen. But after this, it's like not having so much experience, I kind of don't know what direction to continue to push those numbers, or even if for sure that's what I want to do is continue to push those numbers. It's like it's kind of the crossroads where it's like, all right, do I continue down that road, or do I transition to like flat bench and like have fun just powerlifting for a while, literally having a strict powerlifting program, maybe cut some body weight, do a competition, stuff like that. You never know. It's just food for thought. It kind of makes you wonder, or kind of makes you ask yourself, like, what's it all about? Like, what am I going for here, And I mean, clearly it's about what it is for me mentally and physically. I'll never stop working out. Like, I'm glad that I found the love of it. In a lot of ways, it saved my life from drinking myself into an early grave. So, I mean, I'll never stop working out. I probably won't ever stop working out a lot. I enjoy it. It's, we all do. That's why we're here, right? But it's also nice to feel like there's a direction you're headed, like a goal destination, and there've been many of the goals throughout. There's been like at first it was like the 405 squat, that was the goal, and at one point obviously less than that, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, 5 plates. So it's just like, how far can you chase that? I mean, and I guess that's the question for each individual, is like, where does it go, and what's the purpose? So at the end of this program, I foresee myself coming to that point, and I would really, really like at some point to push my deadlift to 700 pounds. I feel like I can do it. I think it's there. I think that takes time, and I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I think that's a really cool number, and I would really love to have that. So, we'll see how long that sticks around, if I can maintain that goal, and or if I'm even interested in it moving forward, but I think it'd be really cool to be able to pull that one off. That's one that I could feel pretty excited about and pretty interested in trying to conquer. And what's funny about that is, it's like, I think that if I stood in like some kind of a box or something where I couldn't see the ends of the bar, and somebody just loaded the weight up on there and told me it was like much less than what it was, I think I'd pull a much bigger PB. Like, I'm not saying I'd be at 700 pounds. I'm not even thinking that for a second. But like, I think that I could pull substantially more. That's for me. It's just that confidence. It's about really like knowing that it's there. If I know it's there, I just tear it off the floor. Or just push it right through the ceiling. Like, it's just building that confidence into it that really seems to work for me. And yeah, it's like if I could put on some kind of like blindfold or like horse blinders or something where I couldn't see the ends of the bar no matter what I was lifting, I feel like all my lifts would skyrocket a bunch, you know. But sadly, I'm the one that has to load my own plates. So until I get a couple of assistants to help me out with that, I guess I'm stuck knowing what the weights are and progressing much more slowly. But I know that at the end of the program, this upcoming one, whichever direction I decide to go, you know, whether that's drop a bit more weight and just like, you know, trim down for a while, or I don't really know. But I know that whatever it is, I will incorporate always some form of squat and deadlift. I just feel like those are the two, and obviously pressing. You know, I'm never gonna like not be pressing or something, but I just think like a deadlift and a squat are just two, you know, all around good. Full body kind of exercises, you know, and it's like I'm always going to have some variant of those in the program, you know, because I feel like also in the future, you know, say I do, you know, kind of pivot away from what I'm doing now and into something else. I feel like having those two in the program will always allow me to kind of pivot back over and step back over into that lane and get right back into the flow of things if I'm always incorporating some form of those, you know. And it's just such a good low back stimulus, you know. It's such a good core, so good for your core and low back for me on those, you know. And yeah, I mean, I used to suffer with quite a bit of low back pain, and then I started deadlifting and I don't have low back pain anymore, you know. And that's kind of counterintuitive to a lot of what these clowns online that talk to us would say. But you know, it's like, if I've noticed personally for me that, you know, a lot of those aches and pains and low back stuff that I used to have and like this, it's gone, you know. And then I blame squatting and deadlifting for a lot of that. But I do think, yeah, that's big for me though, is like having kind of goals and like having something that I'm kind of shooting for in the short term and shooting for in the long term, you know. And some of those are, you know, obviously it's just hitting those week to week kind of PRs and stuff that can't always happen, but it's really cool when it does. And it's kind of having your eye out a couple of weeks, kind of eyeballing maybe 2-3 weeks out, 4 weeks out for like when you can work up to a new PR in something, whether it be an accessory or one of your main lifts, or just, you know, hitting that extra rep, or maybe it moves a little bit faster than it did the week before, you know. And it's just always having those kind of little goals, you know, and then having kind of an overarching goal that all those little goals are kind of working towards, you know, that keeps me personally engaged and motivated, you know. And yeah, so I mean, you know, talk to me, guys. Like, let me know in the comments what are like some goals that you guys work with, and like things that you guys are, you know, kind of aspire to be able to pull off, or some lifts you guys are interested in doing. You know, maybe I'll get some ideas and incorporate some of those into my training, you know. But anyways, yeah, if you guys made it this far, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, that'd be really cool if you did. Other than that, man, I'm gonna go and get back to work. I've been on my lunch break, so yeah, time to go do something. Go out and get after it, guys. Take care.